Welcome to our Selwyn District Council and Enliven webinar on navigating the online world safely and banking. So in this seminar, what we want to do is provide you with some confidence with you or with some of your clients. And so just a little bit of housekeeping to start with. We have turned the cameras off, and because we are recording this session, so just go down to the bottom left side of your screen and you should be able to share your camera if you'd like your face to be seen. We like seeing smiley, happy faces. So my name is Kirsten Dingwalla-Koya and I work for the Enliven team at Presbyterian Support, and my role is as the Elder Care Canterbury Coordinator, and that looks after the health and wellbeing for Canterbury's older people that live in the community. So we're always looking for things that help people to live well. And obviously COVID-19 lockdown and the continuation of that has probably impacted us. And we felt one of those issues was being online and dealing with our money. So today we've brought Bronwyn Groot all the way from Waiuku up north, rural as well. So we apologise if the connection fades in and out, but she is our specialist from the Office of Financial Capability, and she's going to talk about frauds and scams over COVID. And then we've also got Santana Mahi from Westpac Bank, and so she is the wellbeing manager there, and she's going to talk about being confident with banking and accessing money, but also introduce the Westpac Bank Dementia Friendly Initiative, which is a good, really amazing program that Westpac have introduced just to protect their customers. And then thirdly, we've got all the way from Selwyn, Hayley Brown, who is going to share just what Selwyn Council are doing for their people, for anyone in their district that wants to access online safely and what they can provide. So welcome. We will have some people joining us as we go, but we're going to kick off the seminar at the right time so our lovely speakers have a decent amount of time to speak. So another housekeeping is we'd love some questions. So as Bronwyn's speaking, if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll have an opportunity at the end of the session to ask those questions. So introducing Bronwyn. Thank you.
Excellent, thanks Kirsten. I'm just going to share my screen, so hopefully fingers crossed everything works. Right, now we know that these fraudsters and scammers out there are always there to take advantage of any situation, and COVID-19 has proven no different for them. They are there to take advantage of us when we're scared, when we're worried, and when we're concerned. Of course, during the lockdown, people have been preoccupied with their current situation. That makes them easy targets. People are desperate for information, and they also panic over the disease and the cures. This, of course, is leading to some of the biggest scams that we've been seeing. Business email compromises are on the increase. Consumer fraud schemes, phishing scams, investment scams, and fake charity and crowdfunding scams. First up, the business email compromises that we're seeing. If any of you have not heard of what a business email compromise is, there's a couple of forms that it takes. One is it can pretend to be a CEO and trying to trick an employee into sending money. At the moment, they're also targeting payroll and contacting payroll, pretending to be a staff member and saying that their bank accounts have changed and trying to get access to the funds that way. The other way a business email compromise works is they are hacking into someone's email system, they're reading the emails, they're seeing invoices come through that need to be paid. They grab those invoices, and the only thing they change on them is an account number, so that when someone goes to pay that invoice, the money actually ends up going through to a fraudster or actually through a money mule, which is definitely on the increase as well. Consumer fraud, of course, we saw a lot of this when COVID first came out, when the coronavirus first came out. There was a whole lot of price gouging around masks and hand sanitizers and all of toilet paper, of course, all of that sort of stuff. So there was it was good to see some of the companies really jump on that price gouging, and I know Commerce Commission and Trade Me and stuff like that was being really, really good with it. The testing kits, fake testing kits, fake treatments, and as soon as coronavirus was mentioned, there straight away there were fake vaccines being offered around the world as well, sadly. The big thing with consumer fraud scams is the scammers want your personal information. That is what they're out to get, and we need to be really careful around how we share our personal information, and we need to take the time not to enter it into fake websites or phishing links or stuff like that. At this time, when we are all stressed, our personal information is really, really important. It's absolute gold for the scammers, and we need to keep our information safe and keep it as close as possible to us. This here is a fake web shop. Of course, the scammers have been running so many fake web shops and websites and counterfeit goods. So this one has actually been put out by the Domain Name Commission. It's a really great little website that if you take the time, please jump on it, fakewebshop.nz, and you'll see that there's a little, what are they, gingerbread men and stuff throughout the website, and if you click on them it will give you a lot of information. So I really recommend that if you've got clients who are unsure about this stuff, please direct them to this web page, and people can spend some time on it and learn tips on how to shop safely within New Zealand. I think the big thing that when we look at this, also don't automatically assume because it's a .co.nz website that it is actually a New Zealand website. I think we can't highlight that enough. So there are some tools to use around that to make sure it is actually a New Zealand website. One of the biggest things is look for an address, look for a refund policy, and again, make sure you keep your information safe. Phishing scams, of course, these are definitely doing the rounds. They turn up in your inbox asking you to click on a link. They may pretend to be from your bank. They may pretend to be from the World Health Organization. They may pretend to be, you know, from, especially at the moment around tax time, they may pretend to be from Inland Revenue Service as well. They'll all ask you to click on a link which can take you to a website that has either malware or maliciousware on it, or they're just phishing for all of your information. Interestingly enough, there's also been some text messages, or smishing as it's called as well. One of the ones from the States, and I've spoken to the telcos here, they haven't seen it here yet, but that doesn't mean it's not going to come. And this is a text message saying that you have been exposed to the virus and that you need to click on a link. So again, it's playing on people's fear and anxiety as well. So a couple of simple things with emails. Hover is our best friend. Use your mouse, hover over the name of where the emails come from, and see that it matches. Don't click on any links if you don't know where it's come from, and don't give out any personal information over the phone. We know that the scammers are still calling those phone calls through landline, particularly to our older community, who the majority of them still have a landline. they're ringing them, they're saying that their internet's going to be cut off or there's an urgent issue with them. And sadly, people are still falling for this as well and losing quite large sums of money. So if we can get that message out to people, you know, don't trust everyone who rings you through the phone, ask some key questions before you give out any personal information. The actual best thing that you can do if someone rings you and says that they're from the bank and you're unsure, or from Inland Revenue, is hang up the phone and then ring the bank through their 0800 number or the company. Look up the company. Investment scams are definitely on the rise. Definitely on the rise at the moment. People are worried about low interest rates. They're looking for a good deal. They're looking to earn a little bit of extra money. And I have had so many cases during lockdown whereby people have said, oh, I just had some spare time. I thought I'd invest a few $100s and end up losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Probably the biggest investment scam that I personally are seeing at the moment is the FX trading, or what used to be called the binary options trading scams. So it starts small, $250 charged to your credit card. They give you an online trading account and you start buying and selling foreign exchange or commodities. You think that you're buying and selling it. Very quickly, the scammers get you to step up to next level, gold, silver or gold level trading. They support you and your money is gone really, really quickly. I had one gentleman who lost 170,000 in a weekend. Very, very sad and really hard to get your money back, because these FX trading are not registered or with the regulators in New Zealand. So it's very, very difficult to get your money back. So trick number one, if someone rings you out of the blue offering an investment advice, that's actually illegal here in New Zealand. So that should be a really big red flag for you. These scammers will rush you into investing, and that again should also be a big red flag. They don't give you any cooling off periods or anything like that. So take your time, think, talk to someone else. Don't just trust the word of a scammer. Talk to someone else and think it through before you want to lose your money. This here is a fake advertisement with Mike Hosking and Duncan Garner. Elon Musk and Richard Branson are also in it. This one came out on Stuff, actually, and a person clicked through to it. It's clickbait. They clicked through to it and they also ended up going through to an FX trading and losing over $75,000. So just because you've got some famous faces on an advert, again, don't trust all that you see. The simple thing with this one is I took Mike Hosking's name and Duncan Garner advertising scam, and I put those words into Google, and straight away it popped up that it was definitely a scam. So that's, Google is our friend and we should use it wisely. Fake charities and crowdfunding schemes. We are going to be seeing more of this, and we need to be really careful when we're sending our donations. You know, we want to help. New Zealanders are awesome people. We really like to help others out, and we like to give to charities. So you have to do your research before you send your hard-earned money. It'd be really horrible if you sent your money to a charity that didn't exist. The scammers prey on this, and they're very, very quick to start up fake charities or fake crowdfunding schemes as well. So you need to please do your research before you send your hard-earned money. One of the easiest things you can do with a charity is check the New Zealand Charities Register. Look them up on there, and then again, pick up the phone, give the charity a call, and make sure that you go through their donate system the way that they have it set up as well. What else? Oh, sorry. One of the other crowdfunding schemes that we're seeing on Pledge Me and things like that as well are fake stories around families who have lost everything as well and are looking for money to help them out. You know, there are really, really sad stories out there as well, but please just make sure you do your due diligence and before you send any of the money out. The stuff that I talk about is pretty scary, but Santana is going to talk about stuff from the bank's point of view and give you some really good advice on what to do before you, so you don't lose your money. But there's a couple of things that you can do. At the Commission for Financial Capability, where I work, we have a fantastic, some really great resources. One of them is the Little Black Book of Scams. It's available free on our website. So just go to cffc.govt.nz. And we also have Coping with the Aftermath brochure of fraud as well, brochure. So if you do know of someone that has sadly fallen victim to a fraud or scam, you can show them that brochure, and it's 12 little steps to getting your life back on track after you have been scammed, because people find it very, very difficult to, particularly in romance scams and things like that, to actually realize that not only has the person that they believe they fell in love with is not real, but they've also lost all their money to a romance scam as well. So we also have that. The other great little resource that we have is a Money Mule awareness booklet that we co-produced with New Zealand Police. It's a fantastic little booklet that is available. We know that the scammers are targeting young students and some older people to use them as mules. So really important, have a read of that great little resource as well. Also too, on our website, we also have some videos, some short videos that we've made raising awareness around the Malaysian travel scam, some romance scams and some other ones as well. So please, I really recommend, if you've got some time, jump on the website and have a look around. There's also a film that we made, a documentary that we made for the Fraud Film Festival last year. Yes, there is a thing called a Fraud Film Festival that runs worldwide. We made a film called Fraud Hurts, and have your tissues ready, but it's really powerful and it's well worth taking a look at it. So I think I've kind of rushed through everything, but that gives me a little bit of time if anyone has any questions as well that I can answer, or if they want me to talk about anything else that I haven't mentioned here today.
Great, thank you, Bronwyn. It's just, I mean, obviously it was coming through on the Facebook and on Google, even, like, you know, all these different sites that you could go to, and if you work for anywhere, you're constantly being alerted to do not open emails that you do not know. But it's just to urge on the side of caution always. And yeah, so we're free to take any questions if anyone has any around this. I can't see any come through yet, but there may be some around money. But if anyone wants to ask a question to Bronwyn after Santana's presentation, feel free. So thank you, Santana, for coming along. So I hear you're in central Auckland and busing and driving and getting yourself however you can there.
Yes. So thank you so much for that. Hi everyone, my name's Santana. I work at Westpac Bank and look after financial wellbeing. So not only financial wellbeing for our Westpac customers, but just New Zealanders in general, how we can educate them with just banking in general, or even anything that we can help to support New Zealanders in general, build their confidence in financial capability. Today I'm going to talk about, you know, what we've seen during the COVID period, and then I'm going to share my screen so you can see a few of the presentation that we have, and then also we're going to just look at our website so we can kind of navigate our website just with tricks and tips and stuff. So there's real general knowledge, not specific to just Westpac customers. So I'll kick off by sharing my screen. It shouldn't be too long. There we go. Sorry, it shouldn't take too much longer to present. There we go. So you should all see this screen that says confidence with banking. So this kind of presentation really talks about um, just educating people to have that confidence with banking, because what we saw during the lockdown or the quarantine period was we didn't really realize how many of our customers didn't bank digitally or didn't understand the difference between certain cards, didn't have the knowledge of, what to do if a branch is closed. So we kind of created this to support the idea that, to kind of educate people. This presentation talks about confidence with payment, so it's payment methods that are available to everyone, confidence with cards, so knowing the difference between the cards that we offer, so whether it's Eftpos, your standard Eftpos card, debit card, and then credit cards, and then just confidence with online banking, so not only Westpac's but all banks in general. So we'll start off with the confidence with payments. So there are so many different payment methods that we like to talk about. The first is maybe, and this kind of comes off the back with kind of checks being removed just in New Zealand. So we're kind of looking at different payment options. So whether somebody is using online banking, but the method that they used to pay their bills or some sort of bill, what we have available to kind of change that, or if you're not using checks anymore, what we have available in addition to paying with checks. So with online banking, there is direct debits that can be set up. So basically what that does is the money gets taken out of your account automatically, and it's kind of like a partnership between the company you're paying the bill to. So it could be, your phone company, so Spark, and us, and you as the customer. So it's like a partnership. So we make sure that Spark has a contract in place to say that they can come and take the money out of your account, and we definitely make sure that you're okay with that direct debit. So the money moves out automatically on the date that you advise Spark, who advises us. Automatic payments, and those are kind of the payments that are set up by you through your online banking channel. So if you like to give some money to, I don't know, your grandchildren or your kids every month or something, you have that set in place, so it automatically goes out. So there's no manual function where you have to go in every month to kind of figure out how to transfer the money. And that's also good when it's done automatically as well, because online banking definitely updates at different times, and there's always different updates coming in and out, which can be super confusing for everyone. There is bill payments, which are kind of just your one-off payments. So if you went out to dinner with one of your friends and you're paying them back, that's just the one-off payment that you just make automatically, and the funds get taken out that day. And then people tend to use their cards. So this is the next slide I want to show you is our kind of this one here. So a debit card, so that can be used to pay for your bills, whether you're putting your card information into a secure site of the website. So it could be with Spark, I don't know, Genesis Energy, anyone you're paying a bill to. Make sure that when you are putting that card information in, that debit card information, you're doing that with confidence, and you know exactly whose website it is and where you're making the payment to. So yeah, definitely just looking at the examples of everyday payment methods on the screen, cash, Eftpos, debit card, and online banking. And our next slide, and this one just talks about confidence with cards and understanding the difference between the cards. So the first one that we'll talk about is an Eftpos card. Now, this one's a bit tricky. It's kind of tricky to differentiate an Eftpos card to a debit card, but a Eftpos card can be given in branch. Those are generally free, and you just walk in, pick up give your information to the branch staff, and then they'll issue you with a Eftpos card, which is standard Eftpos card. You can use it at ATMs, and you can withdraw funds, and you can also use them at shops, so just by swiping and entering the PIN. With a debit card, these are a little bit more sophisticated, so these are ordered in the branch. So when you go into a branch, you order them with the person you're speaking to, or over the phone, or through online banking. And the reason why these are ordered is because these have your name embedded in the card. So the cards take a little while to be created and then they are sent out. So these debit cards unfortunately can't be sent out or can't be issued over the counter in a branch. But with the debit cards, you have the ability to purchase things online, book accommodation if you don't have a credit card, and just pay bills. Overseas, you can use it overseas. You still have that ability to use an ATM and purchase things in the store. But sometimes with a debit card, you have the option of, during COVID, maybe you may have done just the pay wave. So you just hold your card on the Eftpos terminal and then the money gets taken out, or the same functionality as Eftpos card, just swipe and then enter in the PIN. And then with the credit card, that's a little bit more advanced as well. So you probably all know about the credit card, can do exactly the same things as an Eftpos and a debit card can do, but it's got a credit facility behind it. So this one is generally, you do have to apply for lending for a credit card, as there's a certain balance on the credit card that you can use up and then pay back over time. So those are kind of just explaining the 3 different types of cards that all banks have, all banks have. So, and also on the credit cards, you can earn rewards as well. Now, just before we get into the online banking one, I mentioned before that we didn't realize how many customers hadn't logged on or been registered for online banking. And in one day during the 4-week lockdown, we saw 6,000 calls in queue in 1 hour, and that was on one day. So in 1 hour on one day, there are 6,000 calls in queue, not specifically because customers were calling about online banking, but just were getting calls about anything, and that was to our contact center. And we dug a little bit deeper and we've realized that, the customers who had never been registered for online banking actually didn't know where to register, how to register, and what to do. And that was something that we looked at ourselves and said, well, why didn't we think about this pre-COVID? Why didn't we have this information available pre-COVID? So what we did for our older customers, and our customers where we need to give more extra care and guidance, we kind of set up a specific phone line for them so that when they're calling, they're not getting muddled up with the 6,000 other people that are on the phone lines trying to get through to our people, but just so that they had their own line where there were dedicated people who kind of had an understanding of online banking and how to relay that information to this group, the extra care customers that we need to support. So so that phone line was set in place mainly just to support people jumping onto online banking who may never have used it before. So that was one thing that, we did just to support that during COVID. Next. Now, why use online banking? I think during COVID, we were kind of forced to use online banking as the only method of kind of accessing our funds or checking our balances, because some branches were closed. But these are just some really good benefits of online banking. So you can access your money 24/7, do your banking wherever you want, keep up to date with your finances. So all your information about your banking is in that one secure location. You can view your statements and your transactions. So, on your transactions list, you can see, what you purchased in the last hour or the last 5 days or even in the last year. So all this information is stored in this one secure place. You can organize your bill payments. So that's the automatic payments that I was talking about before, direct debits and then transfers to your friends or whatever. And then we have the transfers between accounts. So you can transfer your money between accounts. So if there's somebody who may have an account where their money goes into and an account for their card, you can transfer money between those 2 accounts and then also pay someone overseas. So if you have a grandchild living overseas and, you give them that yearly birthday present or, $50, that can be transferred to them within a couple days. Now, when you are registering for online banking, make sure that you do talk to the right people. So whether it's Westpac, ANZ, BNZ, ASB or Kiwibank or any other bank, make sure that you're calling the line that's advertised or that is available to you on your banking brochures or wherever. Make sure you're definitely calling the 0800 number that is out there and available. Like Bronwyn said, any emails, hover over the links. Don't call the numbers in the emails that you may receive from a bank. A bank will never email in you saying, dear customer, please log into this online banking link. They will never do that. We will always use your name, never call you by customer, but always make sure that you are calling the numbers, you are visiting your branch. If you have a relationship with your local branch, they can help you with any emails that you may receive from your banks asking to log into a certain online banking link, but always contact the bank who you bank with, just to make sure that, you know, wherever you're registering for online banking, putting your information, it is in the right secure place. So this just talks about starting your online banking session, so where to go. So, you know, Google, Chrome, Internet Explorer, whatever web browser you use, typing in the actual IP address, so the whole www.westpac.co.nz, making sure it's the full thing, opening the website and then clicking on the login, so actually typing it in yourself, not clicking on any links, and then entering your secure ID and password, which may be given to you by someone in the branch or someone over the phone when you're calling our contact centre. Now this slide just talks about the apps that are available. So I did put the 5 main banks apps on the screen. So we have our Westpac one. This one's confusing because some people download the Westpac Australia app, and that's mainly because their one is called Westpac and it's always at the top of whatever store it's at in the Apple store, doesn't matter, or Google Play Store. Westpac Australia's app is always at the top. So Westpac one is Westpac New Zealand's app. Then we have the ANZ one, Kiwibank, ASB and BNZ. And then here we just want to show you what the main pages look like and where you would find the login. So always on Westpac, it's in the top right hand corner, which I've circled there. ANZ's, this is the main screen when you log in. It may have changed now due to COVID, but it's usually in the same place. ASB. And their online site, whenever you're logging in through a computer or laptop, theirs is called Fastnet Classic. And then BNZ. And then over here, we just have Kiwibanks as well. Cool, so that is that slide there. But I want to talk about dementia friendly as well. I think I have a couple more minutes, I'll rush that through. But I'll show you our dementia friendly page. So we're committed to being a dementia friendly organisation, and basically what that means is we've made a commitment to ensure that our branches, our staff and our policies live for creating that support for people who may be living with dementia. I'm going to share this screen now. I'm going to stop sharing this, sorry. Where is it? Here we go. Cool, so this is our dementia friendly page on our Westpac website. But I've got some notes here as well. But what being dementia friendly means is our branches. So that's the lighting, our quiet spaces. So all of the things in our branch, when you walk into a branch, they're thoroughly thought about. So where everything is placed, that's thoroughly thought about. So just making sure that where our signs are, where the brochures are, that they're in a place where they're accessible, but also they're in a place where people, you know, are happy to pick them up and take them without any maybe they might feel uncomfortable picking those certain brochures up. So everything in a branch is thought about. We do educate our people, so we're making sure that our frontline staff or customer facing staff understand the extra care and the extra needs of our customers who may be living with dementia. We also have systems in place. I'm pretty sure all banks do have systems in place that kind of let us know if a customer is living with dementia, or kind of what support they require and need. So when a customer who may be living with dementia comes into the branch, we bring up their profile. What we do is we can see on that profile who their key contacts are, what some withdrawal limits may be, so that we're not going over them and we're doing the right thing by them, and also just their enduring power of attorney and their acting on behalf documents. So all of this is in file, so that when that customer comes into any branch, could be one in the North Island or South Island, as soon as we bring up that information, a little box pops up to tell us what we need to know, so that we're not making it hard for them when we're trying to communicate, or we're not doing the wrong thing by them. We have our dementia policy for our staff, so just making sure that we're supporting our staff who may have a family member living with dementia, or even if they are themselves, just so that they feel supported by us. And then we have the working group. So we have a governance group, and that's made up of our staff who know somebody living with dementia. So what that does is it doesn't just bring their banking knowledge to the table, it also brings their heart because of their personal experience. So when they're out there educating our frontline staff or our customer facing staff, they're sharing their real stories. And on our website, we have their stories can be found down below. So I'll scroll down. So down here, this video down here is where they share their stories. So it's a really good video, and it's really good to know that, we have the right people in the bank looking after this area, making sure that we stay committed to our dementia friendly goals. That's there's so much to talk about when we talk about dementia and what we're trying to do to support those customers. But yeah, this page is really helpful, has a lot of helpful tips, and yeah, if anyone has any questions.
I had one just at the top of my mind, Santana, around dementia friendly. So if a customer came in and they did the same transaction that they'd just done the day before, what happens?
So if our branch staff think that if it's a local branch, if it's a small branch and it's in the same branch, our branch staff, what we do is we have notes in the profile. So they would usually refer to the notes. If they think it's unusual, they will make sure that it doesn't happen, and then what they'll do is they'll call the key contact people who are on the list of information that comes up in our systems, just to say, hey, this is happening, are we okay to continue it? But also that key contact person is a person acting on behalf of this customer. So yeah, we'll definitely contact them if we think that this is something kind of unusual. But if it's such a large transaction, we make sure that we're abiding by the account's withdrawal limits. So the family comes in, puts a withdrawal limit in place for maybe the day or the week, and we make sure that we're not going over that. And if we're creeping up to it, definitely call the key contact person.
What about in those scenarios if you felt like there was some elder abuse going on? Do you have an alert in that situation?
If we do have that situation in place. To be honest with you, I don't have all the information on what we do in that situation, because at the end of the day, when they come in, we make sure that if somebody is living with dementia, we make sure that there is always a plan in place. So the first plan is talk to the family, talk to your family, come up with a plan, and then come to us, and we follow the rules that the family puts in place. But at the end of the day, if there's two key contact people, if the enduring power of attorney is there, if there's acting on behalf people, and if they're all different, then we'll definitely communicate with all four people. If it's the one person only, I guess we would try and do our best to help the customer, but at the end of the day, if that's what's in place, we really can't try and stop the two people from doing what we will do as much as we can, but we have to listen to whatever documents or whatever's being put in place. But hopefully there's more than just the one person in that kind of situation.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions that they'd like to ask Santana?
I'm here from the Blind Foundation. I've just got one question.
Yes.
And that is, one of my clients recently had to take a bus from New Brighton to a branch that was way out of his area. And it wasn't a Westpac branch, it was a different bank. But he was told by the bank that he wasn't able to get cash out. They wouldn't give him any money. And they basically told him, and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him cognitively, but he was told that his family would need to set up his services, or that he'd need to have someone who was acting as a power of attorney, and that they wouldn't be given cash. Is that something that's been happening? Have banks not been giving out cash recently?
No, we definitely have been giving out cash, not over the counter generally, not really over the counter, because not all branches store cash. We'll support them to kind of go to the Eftpos machines, but it sounds like in that situation there may have been some steps being in place that were discussed with the bank, or if there may be the enduring power of attorney over that specific account, because sometimes if it's a specific account, there might be certain rules on those accounts where maybe there is a rule saying talk to this person before funds are taken out of the account. But no, we're definitely still, during the lockdown period, our ATMs were still, delivering cash, but that sounds like a really tricky situation.
Some of our people, I think, have in the past just gone and taken money out over the counter, and it's what they've always done. And he said that's how he's always done his transactions. And
Yeah.
I mean, and I will be taking him and supporting him and getting him set up so that he can do everything electronic, or that he can use an Eftpos card. But it sounds like that's how he's always done his banking, and he doesn't know how he's going to continue at the moment, because that's what he's always done.
Yeah. And so as soon as he went into the branch, was it more just kind of like a situation where they just said, you need to speak to your enduring power of attorney before this can be done, or?
They basically just said all our options are electronic, and you need to use an ATM machine, or you need to do things electronically, and you need to be using an Eftpos card. And so even though he'd always been treated supported over the counter, he wasn't given the option.
Okay. There may have been a lack of funds in that area, because of the kind of lockdown situation where we weren't getting the funds to the branches. But yeah, they should have supported him in kind of showing him the Eftpos way, not doing it for him, but teaching him how to put the card in and putting in your PIN, and just kind of stepping back and letting him do what he was going to do, but just kind of communicating that with him, not kind of sending him on his way without supporting.
No, I don't think it happened, and he was quite concerned about how he was going to continue. Yeah, thank you.
So that's okay.
So Santana, another question around that we touched on, it was checks. And obviously, I mean, a lot of people still pay by checks, but when that's not available, I mean, I know that you talk, what is the first thing you say to people? Like, if people can't, obviously you still have the checkbooks, but if people can't pay like their pharmacists or their bill by check, what do you do for them? Like, what is the first thing you do?
I think it's kind of educating towards the payment options that we do have, an alternative to checks. So if we can't, or if anywhere doesn't have the functionality, or if banks move away from checks, what are the other options that do the same thing as a check can do? So maybe like an Eftpos card, if you're paying your pharmacist by check, having your Eftpos card available and swiping your card, entering your PIN, or if you're doing it regularly, trying to set up the online banking automatic payments. So it's not necessarily saying we're moving away from checks, it's saying that these are your other options in addition to checks, and kind of just sharing that knowledge. So not saying checks are out are gone. It's just moving to steps where, you know, there are other options. There's Eftpos, there's cash, there's online banking, automatic payments. There's all of these other options in addition to checks, if that helps.
And do you have telephone banking?
Yes, we do have telephone banking. I myself find it very difficult to use. So my Nana actually shows me how to use for telephone banking, and I show her how to use online banking. I just can't, I don't understand phone banking, but we do have phone banking. There are functionalities in there that tell you what your balance is. You enter it in how much you want to transfer between certain accounts by entering the suffix. But we do have phone banking, and that definitely is an alternative option as well for transferring funds if you have the payee set up. So if you have who you're going to pay, so you might have, you know, your pharmacist, your daughter, it could be anyone, your work friend. As long as you have these payees set up, your phone banking will work well for you. If you don't, you'll be like me and you're just over it.
Right, thank you. Any other questions?
Can I just add something there, Santana and Kirsten? So I recently had an 82-year-old family member who I set up with mobile banking. And he had other family members who were saying to him, oh, you'll muck it up, you'll make mistakes, you know, stuff like that. But I stuck with him. I set up his payees on his mobile banking app, and he's now just chugging along, making payments left, right and centre, and doing a really great job. And, you know, I'm certainly super proud of him, but I think it's just taking that time, reinforcing the fact that, you know, they can do this.
Okay, another question, just it might relate to Bronwyn or it might be Santana. If I go or Hayley, our next speaker, but if I go into a public place like a library, am I safe logging on to my bank? Who wants to answer that? Like, is it safe for me to do that? Because, you know, it's not my private computer. I mean, I tend to only use my private computer, but am I safe going to the library and logging on?
I'll run with it, and Santana, if you want to change it, you can. I would definitely not recommend logging on using their Wi-Fi. Be really careful. You know, hopefully the best thing that we can do is when we're logging into internet banking, if we're using our phones, our smartphones, we use the data that's available as opposed to public Wi-Fi. Definitely don't go to McDonald's and log into their Wi-Fi and log into your emails or your internet banking. That's my recommendation. If you are using if you have to use the library internet, if you have to log into using the library's computer to do your internet banking, make sure that no one's looking over your shoulder, and make sure that you definitely log out.
Because there's secure networks and unsecure networks, and I guess that's I mean, I'm not sure. We're not focusing on the library, but I just figured that might be a place that people might go to. It could be an internet cafe or anything, but they're not necessarily secure networks.
Yeah, if you were wanting to use a public network and you needed one, the library would probably be one of the safer options, because it is run through the People's Network, which is provided by National Library, and it does have a PIN to get in, and it is much more controlled, and it's a closed network, so it would be a much safer option than, say, like the McDonald's, or one that doesn't have a PIN to enter into.
Absolutely. All right, on that note, I don't see any other questions there. So now we've got we're about to introduce Hayley Brown, who is the Senior Culture and Lifelong Learning Coordinator at Selwyn District Council, which includes learning centres and libraries. And some of you aren't from Selwyn, I can see, but a lot of what Hayley shares is actually going to be happening also in our Waimakarere or City Council libraries and anywhere else that you might be. So thank you for coming along today, Hayley, and yeah, tell us about what you're doing.
Hello, I did jump in slightly early with some enthusiasm, but yeah, we have a huge range of options within the library to get people connected and just help access different things. I get quite excited about it because I'm still quite new to libraries, so it's still just, I'm completely in awe of all of the options that are available. But we have an enormous range of e-resources, which are what they are referred to. And that could be absolutely anything from reading books online, so whether that's you download it onto your phone or a tablet, listening to them with audiobooks. We also have playaways, which you can just buy and just pop on if you didn't want to use any devices. They'll just play and you just push play and pause. We have everything that's online. There's movies you can stream, so similar to Netflix, but with a whole lot of world cinema and documentaries, and it's all free through your library membership. You can also receive newspapers online, and that could be throughout the entire world. We also have, so if you're wanting to stay connected with, the latest news overseas or where family members are, we've also recently added in the press, so you could get the press online and a lot of the Stuff publications, and the New Zealand Herald's on there as well. And so especially in a COVID world, we were sort of promoting that if people didn't feel comfortable to have it delivered or be touching different things, you can just get them sent straight to you online. And that's also applicable with magazines. So we have an enormous range of magazines that if you register your favourites, similar to having a subscription, and you'll just receive them electronically and receive an email that they've arrived, and you can just read them at your leisure. You can also go back in previous publications as well, so that can be quite handy. We've got family history, so we can access ancestry.com, and a lot of these things have a cost, but with your library membership, if you log in through being a library member, it's free, so we're covering that subscription service. And this is relevant for pretty much all libraries. Some of we do have different membership options, and we do have different apps and providers that we've gone through, but for the most part they're all pretty similar, and you can always have a chat to your team and ask them as well. Yeah, I'll share my screen, and this might look quite overwhelming because there's quite a lot. So the ancestry.com, and then all the way through with the borrow box option. There's a whole lot of different publishers that provide different options, which can be quite tricky. But the best bit is that we can just work with anybody and just talk you through it and get you all set up the way that you'd like to be ready to roll. And we've just recently got Haynes. So that has a huge amount of car manuals and motorcycle manuals. So if you have a problem with your car or somebody needs to check something and nobody even knows where that is or how to find them, they're all available here, so you can just log in and access them. There's Healthy Food Guide, which is a really popular magazine and it's full of recipes. Canopy is the one like Netflix or an online streaming service. We've got two different types of those ones, is Beamer Film and Canopy. So you can just log in and then stream all the movies or documentaries. Linda is full of courses and tutorials, so that can be absolutely anything. It could be from learning how to use a camera or editing photos through to knitting or playing the guitar. It's just absolutely everything that's about. Mangoes for languages. Newsbank Digital is the one where you can get the different publications with the press and other newspapers. And Press Readers full of magazines. So there's so many, and we can fully appreciate this is quite overwhelming. So what we can offer as well is you basically book a librarian in. So we can do that either in the library, over the phone, or via Zoom like this. And we have found for a lot of people that to get set up to do it on Zoom actually connected them with a whole lot of other learning and opportunities and more connected with other people. So we can then work and share screens and get you completely set up with how you'd like to be able to access it. And we can do that a couple of times. So it's always so easy when somebody's there showing you what to do, but then a week later when you want to learn how to do it, you've forgotten it. So we can assign you somebody and they'll just check in every now and then and make sure that you're all sorted. There's lots of little things that people have struggled with. We had someone who one of the ebooks just wouldn't work on her device, and it ended up being that we had to take off a program and reinstall it and just update it. And we find that when we do that, that actually might fix quite a lot of problems that you might have been having with anything else. So by helping you access our resources, we can actually help you access a lot more of the what's available on the internet. And we also have, so we can help with that with anything that we can, if you've got any questions, but we can also, we have device drop-ins. So we have a set time in our libraries that you can come in, and it could just be, it could be anything, you know, it could be, we have people come in and they don't know how to turn on their phone, or they're not sure how to send an attachment to an email, or absolutely anything. It could be getting some spyware or something off your phone. So you can come in, but you can come into the set times, or you can just pop into the library at any time. So all of our team, one thing we really sort of push and pride ourselves on is knowledge navigation. So if we don't know exactly how to fix it, we'll be able to help you find how to fix it or search that with you as well. So we can always connect the dots in different places. So yeah, that's essentially pretty much anything we can help with if you come and have a chat to us. And that's applicable across any library, public library service. If you pop in and have a question, or you're not sure how to work something, yeah, just come in and see us, and we will help. I think there was a question.
Hayley, there is a question there, and it's from Tony. He's a working visa holder in New Zealand, and he's not a resident yet. Can he register to the library's resources?
Absolutely. So we set up, over COVID, we set up a temporary membership, so that anybody, if we had people who were stuck in our district who couldn't get home but needed or just wanted some access to resources or a membership, then we would just grant them a temporary one. But if you go in and have a chat, you'll be able to just register and join up to your local library, especially if you're living in that community. There won't be any problem at all with that.
Thank you. Any other questions from anyone? So thank you, Hayley. I know, I mean, just even seeing all of that, I'm like, oh, you know, we do need to familiarize ourselves with what we do, resources we do have. And sometimes, you know, they're no longer just libraries, they're actually full, you know, they're learning centres. And I know that that's, you know, an awesome opportunity. And I do reiterate what Hayley said, you know, your library is perhaps a more secure server if people do have to access a public computer. However, you know, we've just got to make sure that we do it privately, like we do at the ATM. And yeah, but by all means, you know, talk to your library staff, because they're there to help you. They actually thrive on your questions. Yes.
We do, and often when people ask us something, we've found with a lot of our, when people have booked in for a session with a librarian, that it's just that classic thing, you don't know what you don't know. So then as soon as you start talking about it, you might mention something else that's really interesting and you just had no idea was even available at your library. So just having those conversations actually opens up a whole world of knowledge and access.
Thank you. I think, you know, like when I was doing one-on-one community work, I found that a lot of times it's helping people, or even ourselves, to make, you know, to be open to learning something new. And it doesn't matter what that was or is, but it's about opening the doors and walking through, and having that partnership with another person is really, really helpful. So thank you all for coming along today, and thank you Bronwyn, Santana and Hayley for presenting such useful information. Hopefully, and I know it will, make people feel more confident out there, and also knowing what to say. We're going to send out these resources to everyone at the from Amy, so just so that you know she is a reliable source, and we will share the PowerPoints and the links and any details as well. And the other thing, as Eldercare Canterbury, we are going to look at just doing a survey as to whether or not people are comfortable meeting again, because we do have the ability to meet in larger groups now from Friday onwards. So there may be the opportunity. We are going to launch our network meetings in Selwyn and resume normal meetings. Usually these meetings are only around 20 people anyway, so well within the new guidelines, and we can facilitate distance as well. So we'll do a survey, and I believe Amy is looking to do one as well, just to register people's comfort at having actual meetings again. But we've really enjoyed being able to bring these few sessions to you and to the community. And if anyone's interested in some of our other topics, we had exercise and nutrition, and we just had a general overview from the Office of Seniors and from Age Concern as well in our first week. We can certainly send you out some of those notes. So just get in touch with me at kirstend@psusi.org.nz. Amy will send that out, or Amy, and we can send you those links out. So thank you again for meeting. Look forward to seeing you in face and in person again one day. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Kirsten and Amy.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.